Hi, here's all the films that I've watched over the last few weeks. Blu-rays and DVDs, a mixture of horror, crime and many, many more. So let's just go through them. This one, Pirates of Blood River. Really good with Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee's brilliant. The rest of the cast are excellent as well. There's a river, there's a lot of blood, and there's also some pirates. Basically, it starts with some puritanical community and, well, some of the characters fall in love. And unfortunately, it doesn't. Well, don't want to say anything more, but things go from there, and Christopher Lee gets involved, thinking that there is a treasure to be found in this village. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Indicator, love Indicator because they do a lot of extras. Now, sometimes the extras are quite short, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, so they could probably put them all into a single hour extra, which personally, I think sometimes I would enjoy more. But it's broken up in a number of sections, so you can just run down the list. I can't say I've watched every single one of them. Some I think, oh, you know what, I'll watch that. Sometimes, of course, if it's getting late in the evening, I think, oh, no, I'm not going to watch anymore. And maybe I'll watch them another time. But there is a decent selection and really interesting sort of discussion about various. Quite often, I think it's like music. I love the ones when it's discussion about music. Indicator does quite a few of those. Always fascinating. So also it's got the image galleries and those sort of things. And also about the censorship history, because there were some scenes in it that were pretty, for that time. And I can see why they decided to cut those. You know, I don't think they should cut any of them, but still I can understand probably some scenes were a bit probably pushing it. But still, very, very enjoyable. They are in the actual film when you're watching it. Grabbers, I love this. Last Orders. Actually, I didn't even see that. That's obviously what it's called. I thought when I saw it, I thought it was a H.P. Lovecraft sort of thing. I thought, oh, it's going to sort of thing. Well, it's sort of, but it's not. There's these creatures. The tentacle bits was through me. Also, it just felt like H.P. Lovecraft, and it's time to get slaughtered. I suppose it's a bit like Shaun of the Dead, but with sort of monsters from like the Night of the Big Heat. That's what I felt like. Obviously, maybe slightly more. No, actually, Night of the Big Heat. Also, the monsters were pretty powerful in a particular different way. Of course, they were generating heat. In this one, there's tentacles involved, and I love some of them. Very funny. And also there's great scenes where, but I'm not going to spoil it. It is great. It's set in Ireland. And it's really funny. You've got this sort of very uptight policewoman that comes over, and you've got this completely drunk, most of the time, other policeman. And of course, there's romance, etc., or not, backwards and forwards. And it is very funny. At first, I didn't really like it. I thought, you know what, I'm not enjoying this. But when it got to the pub scenes and loads of things, it was actually quite funny. And really worth picking up, and I got it up. Good old Keck for £6. It's one of those sort of things, you know, you see it there and you think, oh, that looks great. And it's got a great cast. Really love it. He's really good. Russell Tovey, of course, excellent. They were all brilliant. Didn't have any special features. A few things, obviously, a bit of feature score, filmmakers commentary, an interview, and behind the scenes. Actually, the behind the scenes was quite a long behind the scenes. The outtakes, not behind the scenes. That was quite short, actually. But the outtakes, there were lots and lots of them. They obviously had a lot of fun when they were making it, and it came across in this. Definitely worth checking out. This one, Night of the Big Eagle. Peter Wingard, brilliant actor. Of course, Jason King, Department S, The Avengers, and many, many others. There's an interview with him on this. He's a professor, or obviously at college, and what he's doing, he's got talking about witchcraft and other things like that, of course. And he says, I do not believe. Well, unfortunately, his wife is a witch. And when he gets home, he finds various things, and things slightly go a bit haywire after that. Really, really well done. I loved it, black and white. But wow, absolutely masterpiece. Studio Canal. And you can see some really good other, obviously Janet Blair, she's excellent. Also Margaret Johnston, and it's Richard Matheson, screenplay by, and it's also based on a book by one of my favourites, Fritz Leiber, or Leiber, never know how to say his name. But this was really worth checking out. It was on Talking Pictures recently, probably turning it up more and more. I missed it, so I thought, I'm just going to get this. Night of the Eagle, a really good Blu-ray. Invasion. I'm never too keen on network ones, I must admit. But this one, I did thoroughly enjoy. I don't know why she had them. It's really odd the way that she obviously, maybe it made it sound exotic. I don't know at the time. But it's also from a story by Robert Holmes, of course, Doctor Who, and other things, of course. And this one, Edward Judd in Invasion. Very, very enjoyable. This one's based on the story of Doctor Who legend, public eye creator as well, cult science fiction thriller, and it's also the day the Earth caught fire, memory, etc., etc. Routine tests on a traffic accident victim lead to a shocking discovery, and of course there's various other aliens as well, and lots of. It's in black and white, really worth checking out, and of course don't take my word for it. Check out the trailer on YouTube. That's quite often what I do. I always go and have a look at the trailer, as well as, of course, other reviews and things. I think, you know what? Yes, that sounds the kind of film I really, really like. Now, it was a few years ago. I think it was in the 1965 original came out. But it's, really good. But unfortunately, the extras were rubbish. Totally. Original theatrical trailer and image gallery. I guess, keep it reasonably priced. That's the way it is. So, Invasion from, obviously, Network there. The British film is put there. But I really did enjoy the story. Worth checking out. Love those sort of science fiction films. Those, most time you watch them, you go, oh, crumbs, that's, you can pick holes in them all the way through. There was lots of others. I thought, no, that made no sense. There was some great scenes with people trying to get through force fields and things. And, that's definitely worth checking out for that bit as well. Taste of Fear. I love this one. This is Christopher Lee again. Christopher Lee does turn up. Now, this had some twists and turns in this story, and that's the best way to describe it. Again, this is a Blu-ray. Susan Strasberg, absolutely brilliant performance. Ronald Lewis and Ann Todd, obviously that on the cover. She's in a wheelchair, goes to a house. There's the wife who's just obviously married this person. Obviously, the daughter's there, and she's the person for the will, of course. There's a will involved, and all the various things that happen. There's also a chauffeur as well, and that's good. There's love road, all that sort of stuff. This is true, and it says here, under no circumstances may we give away any startling secrets. And I don't want to either, because it's really, really well done. I suspect that 99% of people will have worked it out, as I did in the first couple of minutes. I mean, it's not too hard to imagine the scenario. You think, oh, yeah. But still. And it's also, of course, got a vast number, and again, it's from Indicator. So Indicator, they always do. I don't know if there's any Indicator ones that have got hardly any extras. They seem to go full on for the extras, and it was just great. I love these ones. Super 8 version of Scream of Fear. Brilliant. Oh, I love this one. The guy was talking about the music. Clifton Parker's score by David Huckvale. Really, really enjoy those ones. Just so interesting. I love music. Love seeing people sort of discuss all the various things in music. And he was always great to see. And also loads of other people as well discussing various things about the film and other things. But this is a real enjoyable film to watch. Christopher Lee gives a decent performance. He's not, the way it's put there, you think, the main character is, of course, Susan Strasberg. Taste of Fear, very, very watchable film. Spaced Out. I think sometimes, but it's absolutely brilliant. I absolutely laughed all the way. It appeals to my sense of humour. I just thought it was outrageously funny, sexy romp through intergalactic. It's very tame sex. Nothing much. There is a bit, and just great sort of character. He's not Robin Asquith, but he's very similar looking, actually. I think that's probably the reason why maybe. But it's so funny. He's got his sex mags at the start. He's got his, I think it's Bouncers or something, magazine. And they go on this spacecraft. It's just ridiculous story all the way through. And there's the main character there, the sort of obviously who runs the spacecraft. She's certainly not Captain Kirk. The spacecraft is falling to pieces. Literally, the repair team. There's one person. They're all female. and there's a computer. Definitely not Aurak or anything. But it's still, I thought it was so funny. Great performances from quite a few. I mean, it's not going to be for everyone. I love these characters. They're great as well. Also, the guy who goes in there, who sort of obviously wants sex with everyone. Well, you've probably never heard. I mean, maybe you have. Maybe the actors are well known to people. I don't know. I've never seen them before, but I did thoroughly enjoy it. Daft. Don't go into it with any other thing other than it's one of those sort of like adventures, confessions. But to be honest, I thought this was a lot better than any of those adventures and confessions. I did find it quite, science fiction, funny sort of drama there. Comedy that has the whole universe laughing, pushing it a bit. Maybe sort of Maidstone. That's about it. However, Vampire Circus, which I actually quite found funny as well. There were some quite good scenes in this. 50th anniversary limited edition of the Hammer horror classic, £15. I bought this at the London Comic Mart. Always love going to the London Comic Mart. Quite often go through the tables. Lots of comics, but there's also lots of Blu-rays and DVDs. Some, you think, oh, you know what, I've never seen that before, or I've been looking for a long time. And Vampire Circus was one of them, because I'm a mega fan of Lila Ward and Lynn Fredericks and a few of the other actors in this. So I thought, yes, there's old Lila Ward. Very, very good. Now, the film actually feels like a couple of films put together. It's one of those films when you watch them, you think, that's really odd, the way it's set up. But still, I did enjoy it. Little girl is brutally slain. That was pretty... I was quite shocked by that, I must admit. By a vampire in a tiny 19th century European village. Doesn't actually, I don't think it really says where it was. Probably Austria or something, because I think they mentioned going like Vienna. There's Vienna's mentioned. However, you got Count Mitterhaus, and they kill him for the crime, and that's where the story is. Count dies. He's not dead. He's a vampire, we know. However, and there's a plague involved as well. That's why I felt it was like a couple of films, but the plague sort of like is in some of the characters. They go off to try and, there's the village is surrounded, and yet somehow all these people get in quite easily. However, I think they probably killed everyone to get into the village. Obviously, they're vampires. However, there seem to be vampires that have very few, though they have some usual suspects of things that they have problems with. And yet they've also got some humans as well, which was an unusual combination. It does include a few extras, nothing particularly amazing, but the bloody... Oh, actually saying that's a bit unfair. They did have a decent documentary about the horror, new essay on horror there. And also, there's a booklet. The Bloodiest Show on Earth, featuring interviews, etc., etc. But it did also include a brief history of the House of Hammer, a comic I never bought. For a comic collector, why? Why didn't I buy that? However, I didn't. And apparently, they used to do adaptations of lots of the Hammer films. And this one I've actually just ordered. Hopefully it'll come in the next day, and I will do a review of that. Obviously, the Vampire Circus. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it compares, because they showed a couple of pages. They didn't show much. I was expecting a lot, and it was by Brian Bolland as well. So wow. I love Brian Bolland's work, so that was really good to see. And also an insight into other things as well. Well, this is a very, very good Blu-ray. Thoroughly watchable. That is in colour, of course. It's a fairly modern one. Modern-ish. In the 70s. Bela Lugosi. Now, this is another black and white. You notice the theme here. I've got a lot of black and white. I don't know why I've watched a lot of black and white ones. Now, I have not watched all these films. I didn't watch The Raven. I watched the first few minutes and I thought, you know what? I'm going to go and watch something else. However, Bela Lugosi was actually very, very good in this. I actually haven't been showing some of the others, because there are actually, of course, booklets in quite a few of these. I think Vampire Circus, all of them have got little booklets and things in most cases. I always love a good old booklet. The worst thing about this was the horrible, I really do not like this, putting the DVD Blu-rays into this. Like, something, real hassle. Maybe there's a magic trick to it, but I spent about half an hour trying to get the thing back in again. However, back to the film. Black Cat. I loved it. Black Cat was great. In fact, that was great for the house. The house in that was brilliant. One of these sort of like Art Deco, I don't know, that sort of 1930s period. It was obviously a very modernist Bauhaus, whatever it was. Not certainly. Obviously, people will correct me and say, no, it's a what's-his-name house. I loved it. Absolutely brilliant. Boris Karloff was in it and Bela Lugosi, and they were very, very good. However, the first one, Murders on Rue Morgue, which I thought was an odd title since there were no actual murders in the Rue Morgue. Maybe in the book there were, I don't know. But in the film, well, there wasn't any murders actually. If the Rue Morgue is the place, the morgue, obviously the bodies are there, but they weren't murdered there. So anyway, that's just odd. But I suppose the murder's I suppose it's suggesting that there were the bodies in there now. Yeah, maybe that's the reason. But it just seems odd title. Just pointing that out. But I did enjoy it. It was very good. Bela Lugosi was great. But I actually enjoyed the other characters as well. I thought it was they were very, very good. This has got, obviously, a selection of extras. And they were done with the usual ones, the usual suspects. Kim Newman, my favourite. I love anything with Kim Newman. He's always very entertaining. Always gives a great discussion. They had a few of these sort of things, which I must admit I didn't listen to. The Telltale Heart, so some radio series ones. So, yeah, but the quality of the recording was great. That's one of the things I really love about 4K or obviously the Blu-rays. Black and white really looks amazing. Obviously, everyone will have opinion on that and turn around and say, no, they don't. But I think they do, personally. I love this one. Night of the Big Heat. Really, really enjoy it. I love the covers. Look at those covers from 88. I think it's just great. They're doing a whole load of them, like Witchfinder General and all the other ones. Blood on Satan's Claw. They've all got a similar sort of hand cloud corder. That one. But this, Patrick Allen, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, brilliant. Completely daft. Absolutely, the monsters were basically not particularly super impressive, but their powers were pretty impressive. And it was well done, I thought. I love the fact that apparently it was filmed when it was like the middle of winter, and quite often there were characters like down on the beach running around, and they had to put stuff all over them. I was thinking, that must have been terrible. Must have been freezing doing that. But it was thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyable. I really enjoyed all of it. All set in a very isolated pub. I don't know what was happening on the rest of the island. They didn't. Maybe the rest of the island didn't consist of much more than this pub. So that was. But still, a great cast, thoroughly daft, lovable, likeable science fiction fantasy story, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Had some decent extras as well. Not a vast amount, but I love the Jane Merrow Remembers. That was really good. Also, there's a commentary, etc., etc. The usual stills gallery and others, but not a huge amount. I would love to have seen a few more extras on there, but the film itself, absolutely thoroughly enjoyable. Another one that was on, probably Talking Pictures. It might be on Legend Extra. I can't remember. I recorded it. I always say taped. Recorded it, and I watched it on that. So this, I thought, I must get the Blu-ray because the quality, the picture quality, was like about 10,000 times better. So that's always a key thing. And the sound as well. Always helps. Really good, high-quality sound. This was a thoroughly enjoyable film. First, I thought, you know what? I don't think I'm going to enjoy this. Actually, I do that with quite a few films. I think, and then once I get into the film, and I definitely got into this one, The Mill of the Stone Women. Now, there's not really any stone women in this at all. However, that's by the by. It is set in a mill. That's one good thing about it. But this is one of these good old Italian ones. Before Black Sabbath, before The Whip and the Body, blah, blah, blah. Director Giorgio Ferroni, etc. Introduces audience to period horror Italian style with the chilling 1960 shocker, Mill of the Stone Women, classic tale of terror, etc., etc. A young art student arrives by barge to an old mill. And from there it goes on. There's the Professor Wal. However, and also there's a mysterious daughter. She is quite mysterious, actually. Very odd. But first Italian horror film to be shot in colour. It includes the works of Maestro Mario Bava and Dario Argento. Never say his name right. However, this is an Arrow video. got a lot of extras, of course, all the usual suspects. Also, it's got lots of things where you got the original 96-minute Italian and English export version, 90-minute French version, also the 95-minute US version. Cover all the bases, of course, in this. And also it's got lots of good interviews and chats with etc, etc. And also the rare opening title from the UK release, retitled Drops of Blood, German opening titles, etc, etc. Also soundtrack and so on. Lots of great material on this. And also it's got a lovely little booklet as well. There's the booklet. You can see the booklet. There's the book. Very, very enjoyable little film. Yeah. I'm not going to say anything about the story. It all sort of goes obviously between the two characters there, or three characters. This is basically three characters. There's also another character as well. He's quite an interesting, but I did enjoy it. Lovely box. I was surprised by that when it came. I must admit, I was not expecting that. But Arrow, I love Arrow. Great. This Case 39 wanted to try and escape at that point. This one, Doctor Who, The Collection, Season 26. Now, this is the only one of the Doctor Who's I've got. And I've only watched, with lots of box sets, I don't watch everything. Not straight away. I will watch everything in the end. I watched Battlefield first, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. Battlefield, that was a really odd little story. Got the Brigadier in it. And it was all 14 episodes, newly restored Blu-ray. Really nice quality. Because, of course, when these were done, these were like on, I think, probably VHS tape. They were not the greatest quality. Well, they've done a bit of, obviously, cleaned up, restored. And, well, I thought it was pretty well done. It's thoroughly enjoyable. It's also got lots of commentaries, extras, and actually a lot you can see there. Quite a long list. Obviously, there, the life of John Nathan Turner, the writer's room behind the sofa, Become the Destroyer. Yeah, he was a bit of a useless character. But there's a load. It's great. I'm looking forward to sit and watch the rest. The Ghostlight, The Curse of Fenric, and Survival. I think Survival, that was the last of the Doctor Who, obviously Sylvester McCoy. But these box sets are really good. You can pick them up reasonably cheap in Keck. Loads of them seem to turn up. And I think, you know what? Oh, I must get that one, 25, 24. Possibly get them over time. But I haven't watched, like I say, watched too many of them. But of course, the main reason was I didn't watch them when they came out. So it's actually nice to see all these. I mean, I'm a mega Doctor Who fan, but for some weird reason, at that time, I sort of drifted off from Doctor Who. I think lots of people did. Probably Colin Baker. It just sort of, and I thought, oh, so it's nice just to get those box sets and just catch up with the episodes that I've never actually watched. Not watched well, anyway. I'm not even going to say much about this. Baba Yaga. Even to this day, I have no idea what was going on. This was a weird film. Lots and lots of very odd sort of, there was a doll in it that was very strange. A camera that sort of had various problematic for various people. People would collapse and things. It was odd. Director, Corrado Farina. And it's a director's extended. Now, this is obviously a DVD, not a Blu-ray. I don't know if it's available on Blu-ray, but it did come with a few extras. Not much, but it did come with some really good extras for me because I love comics. And they had this one, 2 Guido Crepax documentaries by, obviously, the guy, Comic Strip Freud, which was very interesting, and Comic Strip Phobia, which was very interesting as well. It definitely made me rush off and look for some of Krepak's work. I must have got none of his work, so it was nice to see that. But this was an odd film, not for everyone. I think some people put it down as the most boring film they've ever seen. I didn't think that. I thought it was very watchable, but you have to be in the mood for it. I probably could watch it again and probably think, oh my God, and turn it off after a few minutes. But it was good. And of course, it's also got Carol Baker. Carol Baker's a very odd actress, sometimes very good. And this, she was very odd. Isabel de Funes, very good as well. Worth watching. Some days. Not for everyone. Case 39, I would say, was brilliant. I suspect lots of people don't like this. It's got Renée Zellweger. But as a horror film, or thriller, yes, it was a horror film. Of course, it was a bit like sort of Omen sort of thing. I guess. Not really, but it was sort of that sort of thing. Or loads of other horror films where there's a kid involved. And Ian McShane's great as the cop, and Bradley Cooper's the psychologist who basically obviously doesn't believe anything like that. He thinks, But the great performances from those. And you can see obviously there, Ian McShane obviously got a gun there. And there's Bradley Cooper just looking inside. And there's Renée Zellweger just looking down at the car at some point. Obviously, it doesn't give much away in terms of what the film. Weirdly, there's no actual picture of the kid, who's the main character of the film, which is very odd. But of course, the big star is Renée Zellweger. Some cases should never be opened. And probably in this case, yes. She investigates, obviously, a family, and family are really horrible, really terrible. But there's a bit of a twist in the storyline there. I enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyable. Now, I think it's available on Blu-ray, but I got the DVD. I think the Blu-ray was quite expensive, so I thought, I'll just get a Blu-ray. DVD. So, these things always fall off. I don't know why they put those on. They're always annoying. I don't know where you put them. Put them inside, maybe. Anyway, I loved the first film that I watched here. Now, I haven't watched all of them. Again, this is one thing with box sets. I don't generally watch all of them. But the one I did watch, I loved. It comes with a lovely little booklet. Love the booklet. Real nice thick booklet, which is always great. Box sets of Commedia Italiano. I hope they make a volume 2, volume 3. There must be a lot more of these sort of films. But this one was an absolute masterpiece. Really worth checking out. Brilliant performances by both and all the other people in it as well. One's an extrovert, one's an introvert. They get in a car journey, a journey across. It's a road trip that's really extreme. I mean, I just loved every single second of it. I thought it was just brilliant. Also, it's got some great special features all the way through. You can see decent, obviously, ones there on a trick. I can never say his name. Wow. Anyway, I loved it. Radiance Films, they produce quite a lot of unusual films. This one, Italian countryside, going larger than life Roman playboy who convinces Roberto to join him on a road trip from Rome to the Tuscan countryside. Of course, he stops each time. Oh, I must get back. And then, of course, he continues on. Oh, I must get back. And he meets, and his life is suddenly overnight changed. Both, of course. And I loved it. So that's that. Pretty, what's his name? Bad. Right at the front there. This is a masterpiece. Touch of Evil. This one's a film by Orson Welles, of course. Master of Cinema series, Eureka. And I love this one, number 25. This is a special 2x Blu-rays edition. Again, comes with a good old, lovely booklet. Excellent. But the film, just, of course, it's got some, it's black and white. Just, you can feel the heat. You can see the sort of all the thing, all the various dubious characters. I mean, obviously, Orson Welles is, well, is he? I don't know. He's not, he's a bit like, I always think, Touch of Frost. Basically, Touch of Frost always sort of, he knows who the killer is. He knows, and therefore he has no qualms about doing various things. He is sort of massively grotesque. Apparently, there was obviously he wasn't like that at all. But obviously that's, and also Charlton Heston is absolutely superb. Well, he's always good. Charlton Heston always good. Also, there's a number of other Marlene Dietrich's in it. Zsa Zsa Gabor, though not vast. Sort of very long appearance there, and Janet Leigh, who's absolutely brilliant. Also has got some good things there, obviously documentaries about it, 56 page. Also it's got loads and loads of audio commentaries, which I have not listened to yet. So at some point I will watch the film again and listen to the commentary. Next time I watch it, I'll put one of the audio commentaries on, because I don't like watching the commentary first. I mean, I don't know. Do people ever watch films and put the commentary on first time they watch it? That would be so weird, because they'd be talking about film and you think, oh, this I did enjoy. Again, another lovely, brilliant cover. The Blood on Satan's Claw. Absolutely superb. And Wendy Padbury's great. The Wendy Padbury interview is worth this disc, Blu-ray. It's a Blu-ray disc. She's brilliant. Really, there's a really dramatic scene in this film. So, and Yes, another one is sort of puritanical, weird sort of things. Actually, the character who played Master in Doctor Who, he was great in that. I was really impressed by that. Actually, all the cast was great. Though Patrick Wymark's in this and Linda Hayden. Linda Hayden was very good. But Patrick Wymark I thought was quite unusual. The film definitely felt like 3 films. And I think in the documentary it actually says it was 3 films. Just felt it. You could see the sort of split. You thought, well, hang on, where's this character gone? I'm just going off to London. Sorry, that's a bit of a spoiler. Not much of a spoiler. I mean, it's just like, really? And the thing is, it's filmed, obviously, the film is Patrick Wymark even. But still. But the main characters are Michelle Doctris. Of course, some others do have them. She is great, really good. That game was odd. Just there were odd scenes in that just felt you could see that split in the film. But lots and lots of extras. Very good. And also the quality was superb. Love the sound quality of this. Also folk horror it's talking about. Obviously, Tygon Tales of Terror featurette. That was interesting. With obviously Tony Tenser and others as well. Interview with set dressers, interview with composer. I always enjoy when they have like also interview with the assistant dubbing assistant dubbing mixer. That's one of the things I love in them. I don't think it needs to have the big stars. It would maybe Patrick Wymark they could have had interview, but I don't really care too much for that. Wendy Padbury was brilliant. And she was obviously one of the maybe slightly second or third character down kind of thing. But I thought it was but I love things like the set dresser. Just great to find out their point of view of the film. So I think films should always have that. The composer or the people that sort of involved in music, the band that was playing the music, they're just fascinating to hear their point of view about maybe how the music was put together, all the various themes in the music. It's just great. But this, I love it. I've been buying all of these films, the Tygon ones. Probably, hopefully, House on the Haunted House one. Haunted House, hopefully that will come out at some point. Haven't seen that listed. Maybe that'll come out. The reason being, there's a lovely London sequence right at the start where apparently wasn't very popular, that bit, but that's one of the bits I really like in the film. So Sweet, So Perverse, another Carol Baker one. This was another one, these sort of very enjoyable, lush Paris locations. It was weird, I must admit. I don't know why the bits of it I thought, why didn't they just film it in Italy? Since there was obviously, but it was filmed in France. Filmed obviously in Paris. Trippy flashback, swinging score, and the score was great. I love that. And it's, of course, brand new 2K restoration. The thing that's slightly annoying with this is quite often it doesn't actually tell you anything about the storyline. Just got lots of things about all the actors, of course, in it, now fully restored, etc., etc. A full-blown classic giallo. However, it was actually very different from that format. There was no sort of like seeing a murder. Sort of quite often those giallos always seem to have that. They see a murder in the distance and they don't really they can't work it out, David Hemmings or something. But there wasn't really anything. This is a kinky retelling, but it was good. Carol Baker was in it. Again, Carol Baker. Also, again, Jean-Louise Trinchen, whatever his name. There he is on the list. They were all good. Thoroughly enjoyable film. So sweet, but so perverse. The reason I bought this was I just got the books, of course, by the Troy books, and 3 volumes, absolutely brilliant books. And the title, obviously, I thought when I was looking through, I thought, yes, that sounds absolutely great. It's another brilliant film from Arrow. I really love this. Road Cops and Racketeers. It's got 2 films, The Big Racket and The Heroin Busters. And it's Italian crime dramas by Enzo. You can see down there, I won't say his name. It's got Fabio Testi, who is brilliant. He's in both films. David Hemmings is in the second one, and he was great as well. But it was just superb. Really violent, very violent. Certainly the first one was pretty powerful stuff. But this, 1976 and 1977, this is one of these good... Nico recruits a crack squad of civilians to dole out his own brand of justice. And it was great, featuring death-defying stunts, explosives, shootouts, and a pair of addictive toe-tapping soundtracks, courtesy of the Angelis brothers, which this puts bracket. Though I must admit, after seeing this, I watched a lot of the ones on YouTube about the Angelis brothers, and they were great. I've never heard of them. Terrible, isn't it? Probably were massive in Europe, and yet didn't know anything about them at all. Very, very watchable. Both films, brilliant performances, and I would definitely recommend this. It's a great little sort of mini box set. Now, this doesn't, it comes with some little card, but that's it. Unfortunately, no booklet, which would have been nice. But it does come with a lot of course, extras. And you can see there 2 films. And you can see on the back, it's got a list of all the extras there. You've got the usual, the great appreciation. Again, the thing that I really love, the career retrospectives of the composers Guido and Maurizio De Angelis, musician and disc collector. He was brilliant. Yeah, lovely John. Just the amount of knowledge he had about their music was staggering. I was watching, just going, wow, really endless stream of knowledge about all the various things they'd done. I was super, super impressed. Also discussing, obviously, his gain, the next one, about Goblin as well. Again, not particularly, I obviously know that a few films, obviously, Argento, etc. But this I thoroughly enjoyed. Thoroughly. And I've got a number of films since this of Italian crime dramas, so I'm looking forward to watch. Maybe none of them will be as good as this, but this one I definitely enjoyed. And finally, one of the classic films for me, one of my top 10 films of all time. And the reason I watched this, Dawn of the Dead, of course, you don't have to have a reason to watch Dawn of the Dead. I think Dawn of the Dead is great. This one has got 4 discs, lots and lots of discs. So let's just pull out the discs here. There's a variety of things. You've got there, all the bits and pieces. No, there's no booklets or anything, which is odd, isn't there? You'd think there'd be a booklet with. Maybe if I'd gone for the super deluxe one, I think that's got a lot more stuff. But this has got the theatrical cut, the extended Cannes cut, and also the Argento cut. To be honest, I didn't notice a huge amount of difference. I mean, there probably was. There probably a bit of scenes. Oh, maybe that's. But and also the music apparently was more emphasised in the film. I must admit, I'm not certain. I always thought the music was pretty. When I watched it when it came out. I loved this film. I went and saw it with my nan, and I just thoroughly. I must have been only about 14 or so. I was very young, and I just loved it. Really, really good film. Maybe 16, something like that. I was thinking, what am I doing watching this film? It was worth watching, and I've always enjoyed it ever since. And this has also got lots of special features. I've watched a few of them. And again, I'm going to leave some of the special features to another day, because The Dead Will Walk, the 2014 documentary, 80 minutes. Some of these documentaries are quite long. Oh, there's another one. Now, Document of the Dead, the definitive cut with optional commentary by 100 minutes. And also the Super 8 mal footage by Zombie Extra, etc., etc. Loads of great ones. And production logistics, also probably all about the dummies, Lost, Romero, Dawn interview, and obviously isn't Lost. Then you've got the Memories of Monroeville, which was fascinating, just seeing, of course, the Mall. One of the best films of all time. I just love that shopping centre. Also enjoyed the Dawn of the Dead, the later one, though I didn't like it as much because the zombies were fast. These ones were quite slow zombies, but were relentless. They were relentless, and I think that was just, love that film. And of course, I love the films afterwards, all the various Diary of the Dead and all those ones, Day of the Dead. Obviously, Night of the Living Dead that started it. And of course, many zombie films ever since. But this is a nice little box set, and I was really pleased to pick this up for 18 quid. I'm certain it's readily available. And if you're a Dawn of the Dead fan, you really got to have something like this. I did actually have Dawn of the Dead earlier, but this one is far, far superior. Love it. Absolutely brilliant. So that's it. Run through of all the films. I probably have watched a few others. Sometimes I put them back, and then after a while I think, hang on, when I put that? And so because I always tuck everything. Oh, I've got them all in alphabetical order now. But that doesn't mean much, because it means when I put it in, if I put it in the wrong place, I can never find it again. I've done that a few times, so it's one of those things. But I was really pleased my mate turned around and criticised me for not having it in alphabetical order, because it's like my books. They're not in alphabetical order. But the DVDs just make it easier to see. And I'm going to sit down and watch Clash of the Titans tonight. I haven't seen that since whenever. I think it was probably came out about the same time of Dawn of the Dead, about 78, 79, that time, 80, whatever. But it was about that. And I love that film. That was great. And I've also picked up a load of other ones. I'm always buying on Blu-rays. I bought Lou Fringo, the one guy, we say his name wrong, the guy that played the Hulk, and he's doing the Sinbad one and Hercules. I actually watched the trailer, and again, this is one of the things I always do. Always watch trailers, and I thought, that looks just brilliant. Sort of rubbish that I enjoy watching. It's rubbish. I know it's rubbish, but that doesn't matter. It looks great, and for 90 minutes, I can sit and thoroughly enjoy a pretty rubbishy film. And I love those sort of sword and sandals films, as they're always called, peplum. Peplum films, I think, is a better title. I hate that sword and sandals name, but everyone probably likes. Maybe they like it. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to watch those. Got lots of other films to watch. Lots of Italian dramas, Italian crime ones. I do enjoy those sort of things. And, of course, what are you watching? What have you got? What are you buying? Are you still buying any Blu-rays, 4Ks? Or you mainly go for 4Ks? I personally always go for Blu-ray. Blu-ray is fine for me on my fairly smallish 4K TV. I didn't go for a super duper one. Also, it doesn't have all the special Atmoses and things. So I've always just gone for the basic. Maybe I'll regret that in the future. But 4Ks I always find very expensive. I think that, and they don't seem to come down in price that much. Though at Keck, I have noticed there's quite a lot of the Marvel ones, all around about £4 or £5 for some of those films. And I occasionally think, you know what, I must get some of those. Some of the films you think, yeah, that one maybe be nice in 4K. I've still got Quantumania to watch. I must watch that. And there's still a few films, Guardians of the Galaxy, issue volume, where it's volume 3. Haven't watched that yet. So there's a few films that I've yet to see. Of course, there's the Deadpool, Wolverine one. I haven't got Poor Thing. I keep thinking about getting that. That's in Keck. I've noticed that. I might just buy it online. But it's still, there's loads of great films that are worth looking out for. So I've got those to look forward to at some point. Always got a few coming at some point, hopefully. Always end up looking when the postie comes, always think, and then I think, no, that hasn't arrived yet. However, again, what films are you going to get? Have you got lots coming, or have you been watching just on TV? I've been watching Umbrella Academy. Love that. 4 seasons has been great. Very short. Very short. Maybe all the others have been short as well. I don't know. But I've really enjoyed the Umbrella Academy. I love the train journey. The train is just great. What a brilliant idea. Just so perfect for any series. Train. What more can you want? Where you go in. What a great series. So Umbrella Academy is definitely to be finished maybe tonight. Maybe. Or maybe tomorrow. Got 2 episodes still to get through. It's one of those things I might sit down and think, yeah, I will watch just the last episode just to find out how it finally finishes. But does it matter? I don't know. To me, it's just been a great series. Great journey through all their various incarnations and all the characters that have turned up. Really loved the Jennifer character. That's quite, and Ben. That's quite a good little scenes in the story, which because he didn't have much of a role in the earlier ones. So it's nice that they've actually got him in for the end of the series. Well, I assume it's the end of the series. Assume that's it. And it is also it for my Netflix. So that's why I'm trying to finish it off just before my Netflix finishes. Anyway, hope you found this of interest. Any thoughts, any questions, any considerations? Or like, why did you watch that film? That sort of thing. Please put in the comments. Always happy to, because, bye.